What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Richie Sambora and his 1991 album Stranger in This Town. Thank you as always to Michaela. And the next song is Rosie, which sounds like a name, and not just a name but a female name. It is a single word title, so even if Rosie is in fact a person the narrator is interacting with, or I suppose it's possible the narrator herself, though I find that less likely. But yes, it's not clear what may be happening between the two or in regard to her life trajectory. So let's give it a listen and I'll see what I can pick up on a first hearing. This is Richie Sambora. The song is Rosie, and it's from his 1991 album Stranger in This Town. Woof.
Dancing in the dark all day. You used to be the darling of your high school scene. Now you put your love on display. Sweaty hands hand you up a dollar bill. Hungry eyes never seem to get their fill. I used to watch you walking down the hall. Rosie, do you see me when you hear them call your name?
awesome tune. Okay, so I have so much to say here. I'm going to start by saying this bears a stunning similarity to a song by a punk band, NoFX, which admittedly that song comes from '95, so it's a few years ahead of this. But more on the parallels for that in a moment. I'll start with the incredible vocals. I mean, holy crap, he's singing his heart out here, and he's got fire, he's got intensity, and all the feeling of the narrator comes through and more. Sonically, I'd say there's still a blues rock feel here, but this is definitely more like hard blues rock. It's like in the hard rock vein, though with the vocals and the feeling of the track, I think it's still somewhat in the blues rock vein, just again edgier and more aggressive sounding. Great guitar work, of course, especially in the last third or so when it's soloing and flourishing, but really his vocals here stand out more than anything else. Just absolutely killed that one vocally. And you know, it's funny, I'm going through the Bon Jovi material at the same time, and I keep saying that about Bon Jovi's voice, that he's got a lot of power, he's got fire, and he can really, you know, sing a ballad, but also sing with a lot of intensity. And I feel like Sambora is, you know, in the same category, like on the same level. So yeah, shout out to him for his vocal performance here. And again, I love the guitar work and the intense rock stylings. So okay, lyrically, I think what's happening here is he used to date this girl, and you know their love was as deep as the night is long, but unfortunately things didn't work out like their favorite song. And so now flash forward in time, he goes into a venue where ladies dance exotically, and he sees her, and not only does he see her, but he recognizes her through this tattoo that he thought only he would ever see, and it's a rose on a woman named Rosie, so of course that fits. And he's saying like, you know, I thought you would only dance for me this way. And so when everyone's calling your name and, you know, holding up dollar bills and so on, are you hearing me? So it's like suddenly he comes into contact with her again, and he wants her back, and he wants her seemingly kind of for himself, although I think there's an awareness that like that time and place is gone, but he still finds her compelling, and he's thinking about all that history that they do have, and he's thinking about the differences between here and now, and he wants to take her away from it. He wants to, I don't know about save, it feels like it's less about like a savior and more like, hey, you shouldn't be here. All these people, you know, they're not worthy of seeing your body, seeing that tattoo, seeing you dance and move in this way. And I feel like, you know, that's something that I should be having or experiencing exclusively. So yeah, I don't know if you read that as saving or not, but it feels like it is like this idea that like, you're too good for this place. What are you doing dancing here? You know, I knew you. I remember when it was the innocent you. I used to drive you home from dance class, and I, you know, used to see you walking in the halls in high school and so on. So there's a then versus now. There's a like innocence versus a more adult environment, and this idea that like maybe we can still capture something even if it didn't work out the way that we thought it would before. So okay, the NoFX song, Lori Myers. The song talks about how it's this girl that he grew up with, their families were friends, and they used to play forbidden games when they were young, and the idea that like they had their first sexual experiences with each other. And he talks about like, you know, seeing a birthmark on her body. And so then flash forward, they don't know each other anymore, and then he sees in let's say an adult magazine that same birthmark, and he realizes, oh crap, this is Lori Myers, this is the girl I used to grow up with. And it's like, wow, man, like, you know, like, and he's singing it like he is, you know, the singer of a band who makes some money doing what he does. And he's like, hey, wait a minute, like maybe she's in this position because she, you know, like work didn't happen in the way she wanted, she didn't get the career she wanted, so she fell back on selling her body. Maybe I can do something about this. So he sort of reaches out, and then boom. And this is the big difference with the song Rosie here. We don't hear Rosie's perspective. We don't hear her life story as told by her. But in Lori Myers, we do. And she says, whoa, 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 you think you're coming in here saving me? You think I'm selling my body? I only sell my time. And in fact, the $50K I made this year is way better than the sort of debasement and the marginalization, the exploitation I felt when I worked on the factory floor. So you think I'm in a bad way? No, I took control. I do what I want now, and you're not going to come in here with your knight in shining armor purity and, you know, save me from anything. I do what I want. What is your problem? And it's like, oh, damn, like what a stinging rebuke that I was not prepared for. And if you're curious about that song, I did do a reaction to it like 3 years ago, so it's here on my YouTube. But yeah, I was always intrigued by that dynamic, and I forget the name of the female punk singer who unfortunately passed away. God, what is her name? But she does an incredible job on that tune. Now, that doesn't take away from this tune in terms of it's fine that we don't hear from Rosie, but because of that similarity, the parallels of these two tunes, as I listen to this, I'm thinking, I wonder if Rosie would see it the same way, that like, you know, she's too good for this place, or she used to have this innocence and now he wants to take her away. Maybe she makes a lot of money, and maybe she feels comfortable, and maybe she feels like there is an artistry to it, or at the very least that like she has every right to spend her time, to sell her time in this way. And so yeah, like I'm intrigued here by the dynamic of what the narrator sees, and maybe what Rosie would see and what she might say to him when this night of dancing in front of these guys is over, and he maybe waits around for her shift to end, and it's like, hey, do you remember me? And, you know, should you really be here? And so on. I wonder what she would say. But again, incredible vocals, great guitar, top tune, rocking as all hell. Thank you again to Michaela for bringing Bon Jovi and Richie into my life, and in that regard, I've been trying to do Bon Jovi roughly about every 3 weeks, so they're due to come around again, probably in my next reaction batch, so maybe like Wednesday morning, if not before then, so keep an eye out for that, and let me know what you think here. Peace.